Wisdom begins with a quiet mind. Sometimes the world judges too quickly. The loudest voices often overlook the quiet struggles happening around them. True strength is not always visible. This is the story of Daniel, a boy whose determination would change not only his life, but the hearts of everyone around him. The classroom falls silent. "This is your last warning," the principal's voice echoes across the room. Daniel stands at the front of the class. His head is lowered. His uniform is slightly dusty. The edges of his shoes are worn out. A few students exchange glances. "He's always late," one whispers, another chuckles quietly. The principal continues firmly. "If you come late one more time, Daniel, you will be suspended." The word hangs heavily in the air, suspended. Daniel's fingers tighten slightly, but he says nothing. He doesn't argue. He doesn't try to defend himself. He simply nods. "Yes, sir." The class watches as he walks back to his seat. Some students shake their heads. To them, Daniel is irresponsible, lazy, undisciplined. But what they do not know is this: Daniel has already been awake for hours, and school is the easiest part of his day. Early the next morning, long before sunrise, Daniel wakes to the sound of coughing. The small room is dark. Rainwater drips slowly from a leaking section of the roof. Daniel sits up from the thin mattress on the floor and looks at the cracked wall clock. 4:03 a.m. across the room, his mother lies weakly on a worn mattress, struggling to breathe. Beside her, his little sister sleeps quietly, wrapped in a thin blanket. Daniel lights a small kerosene lamp. The faint glow fills the room. He reaches into his school bag and pulls out a small envelope. Inside are a few crumpled notes and some coins. He counts them carefully. It is not enough. His jaw tightens. Quietly, he steps outside into the cold morning darkness. The sky is still black as Daniel arrives at the market. Vendors are already shouting orders while trucks unload heavy sacks of rice and crates of produce. Daniel lifts a heavy crate of oranges onto his shoulder. It nearly slips, but he steadies it and continues walking. "Move faster, boy," one of the men shouts. Daniel nods and keeps working. Sweat forms on his forehead even before the sun rises. He helps unload sacks from a truck. One bag slips and falls. The man nearby strikes the back of his head. "Careless." Daniel says nothing. He simply lifts the sack again and continues. Time passes quickly. The sky begins to brighten. Daniel glances upward. The sun is rising. School has already started. He quickly collects his small payment and counts the coins in his hand. Still not enough, but it will have to do. He runs home. When he arrives, his little sister is awake. "Brother, are you going to school?" she asks softly. Daniel smiles gently. "Yes." "Study well, okay?" He kneels beside his mother and hands her a small bottle of medicine. "Mom, I'll bring more later," he says quietly. She looks at him with tired eyes. "Daniel, you're just a child." He shakes his head softly. "I'm the man of the house." He grabs his school bag and runs toward school. Dust rises behind him as he runs, breathing hard, uniform wrinkled, shoes worn, and that is how Daniel arrives late again. One morning, something unusual happens. As Daniel works in the market, lifting crates and carrying sacks, someone notices him. Ms. Reynolds, his class teacher, walks between the stalls. She has come early to organize supplies for the school breakfast program. Her eyes stop on Daniel. She watches quietly as he struggles to lift a crate of tomatoes. The crate slips. Tomatoes scatter across the ground. A vendor shouts angrily. Daniel quickly kneels and begins picking them up. "I'm sorry, sir, I'll fix it," he says. He continues working without complaint. Ms. Reynolds watches silently. Every crate he lifts, every coin he counts, every exhausted step he takes, her heart tightens. "So this is why he's always late," she whispers to herself. Later that morning, she quietly follows Daniel from a distance. Daniel enters a small, worn-down house at the edge of the street. Through the gate, Ms. Reynolds watches. Inside the small room, Daniel kneels beside his mother. He hands her medicine and helps her sit up. His little sister sits beside them quietly. Daniel places the coins he earned on a small table. "Brother, will we have breakfast?" the girl asks softly. Daniel kneels beside her. "We'll manage," he says gently. "We always do." Outside the gate, Ms. Reynolds wipes tears from her eyes. Now she understands everything. The tired eyes, the worn shoes, the late mornings. It was never laziness. It was survival. The next morning, Daniel walks into the classroom again. Whispers begin immediately. "He's late again. He's going to get suspended." Daniel lowers his head, preparing for the usual scolding. But this time, something different happens. Ms. Reynolds steps forward. "Everyone, stop talking," she says. The classroom falls silent. She looks at Daniel kindly before turning to the class. "Daniel is not late because he is careless," she says. "Every morning before most of you wake up, Daniel is already working at the market. He works to provide food and medicine for his sick mother and his little sister." The room fills with shocked silence. Students stare at Daniel. Some lower their heads in shame. The principal steps forward. "Daniel," he says warmly, "your dedication and perseverance inspire us all." He pauses before continuing. Starting today, you will receive a full scholarship and the school will help cover your mother's medical treatment. Daniel's eyes widen. He struggles to speak. I don't know what to say. For the first time in a long while, hope fills his chest. Life does not become perfect overnight. Daniel still wakes early. He still works when he can. But now he no longer carries the burden alone. His mother begins to recover. His sister smiles more often, and the same classroom that once judged him now respects him. Daniel sits quietly at his desk. He opens his notebook and picks up his pen. The camera slowly moves across the room. His worn shoes, the small scars on his hands, and finally his determined eyes. Because sometimes the strongest people are not the ones everyone sees. They are the ones who keep going even when no one notices. Hard work, resilience, and kindness will always find their reward. If this story touched your heart, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share this story with someone who needs to hear it. Your support helps us bring more inspiring stories like this to life.